Hi, everybody. So, this is something new that I am putting in my book, and this shows the layout of the first 69 weeks of years. And as I was proofreading yesterday, I wound up deleting a large kind of multiple paragraph section of one of the chapters and inserting this instead. When I was doing some other charty, graphy type things yesterday, as I was preparing to proofread and edit and add more to the book that I'm working on, Daniel's 70 Weeks, I wound up putting together this chart to incorporate in the layout for the first 69 weeks of years to see a representation of the 69 corresponding to the periods of 7. And there is a kind of a, I don't even know what word I want to say. The reason that I took out a couple of paragraphs and inserted this instead is because there's an explanation that people use to kind of back into why, if the first 69 weeks of year starts in 445 BC and it ends in 32 AD, why there's only, accounting for no year zero, why there's only 476 years in between that different time period. And so it takes away from really being able to comprehend that there were 69 sabbatical years worth of, there were 69 weeks of 7 years each during that time period. So that's really the foundation of why I wanted to go through this, was to get away from trying to find a need to substantiate that 483 years of this 490-year prophecy have elapsed based on 69 periods of 7. When looking at the difference between these 2 years, there's only 476. So this is what I did. Now, I used, there we go. I was like clicking and it wouldn't move. This is the whole chart that I used to start doing some stuff. And I actually wound up inserting columns to count here, and then I changed my mind and started using a different tab, whatever. So this is just kind of a rough outline of what it looks like. I'll shrink this down so you can see all of it. From the beginning, 1406 BC, that's just the timeline that I'm working with for this purpose. You have the date of Ezekiel's vision right here, which is given in a Jubilee year to prophesy about what will occur in the final Jubilee year, which is the measuring for the temple. Start of the 70th week is pinpointed here. It is the 70th Jubilee from the beginning. So here's the establishment of them when Israel came up out of the Jordan and camped in Gilgal on the east border of Jericho on the 10th day of the first month. That was when God told Moses, per Leviticus 15, that the children of Israel were to begin counting the weeks of years. So the establishment of the periods of 7 starts when Israel came into the land. So if you know when that happened, Nisan 10 of what year, then you're essentially golden to figure out the last week of years. So if it was this year, then this is when Ezekiel's temple is going to be measured for. And when does Ezekiel's temple get built? Well, it's the tribulation temple. So that tells you when the 70th week is going to start. Ezekiel's vision was given here in the beginning of the year on the 10th day of the month. So in the beginning of the year, so he's on Nisan 10, 10th day of the month, but he's in the beginning of a special year. Again, this is how we know, template specific, how he's prophesying about what will happen on Nisan 10 of the same year in the future. Same type of year in the future. There is another point here that I have not yet started writing about, and that is I have added about 40 pages to my book since last night. Since I got done proofreading the original 85 that I have, I am now currently at 123. So I have a bunch of proofreading that I need to do because that's copied over. So I need to make some edits and make sure that we're good to go with the actual Jubilee research. Right now I'm talking about Revelation 6 and 7, because the start of the week is pinpointed specifically by imagery in Revelation 7. So I'm going through Revelation 6 and 7. I've already gone through Matthew 24 as it relates to Revelation 6 in parts. So I'm going to develop that conversation a bit more. And again, this was already written about in Ezekiel and the Jubilee in Ezekiel's temple. Sorry, whatever that book is called. So I just need to copy it over and edit it. And then I'm going to talk about the conversation that comes after that, talking about the marriage supper of the Lamb. And this is going to be the template that is established by this Jubilee year. And this is Josiah's Passover. The book of the law was found, it was confirmed, and then they held a massive Passover in a Jubilee year to celebrate that. It is essentially what you are looking at occurring in another Jubilee year in the future, when Israel reconfirms her covenant, the law, just like they did here in this Jubilee year. They found the book of the law. They essentially rededicated themselves to following God's commandments in the law, and then they held a massive Passover. You are looking at this template for this action in this Jubilee year, recurring also right here, because they are going to rededicate themselves to following God's law. This is the covenant that will be confirmed with the Antichrist, and it's going to be Ezekiel's temple, which is prophesied about in this Jubilee year. It's going to get rebuilt in this Jubilee year so that they can follow their law. And that template also carries through 7 years later when the real Christ comes back. They are going to dedicate themselves to not the old covenant, to the new covenant relationship with Christ, with God through Christ. And then they're going to celebrate the Passover, which will coincide with the marriage supper of the Lamb. There is a significant understanding to be gained from templates and foreshadows in the Old Testament to help us understand what this final one is all about. And so we take understanding from Josiah's Passover and we take understanding from Ezekiel's vision. So I do need to finish talking about Revelation 6 and 7, because again, this gives us a specific pinpoint to date specific to the beginning of the week. And that comes from Revelation 7, understanding who the multitude no man can number is and why they've got palms. What's that a reference to? Where was the other time in Scripture where palms were used? And what day were they used on? And why are they being shown in Revelation 7? Because that tells you that the week has started. And what day is the week going to start on? The same day where palms were used in the New Testament regarding the king bringing the kingdom. There is nothing new under the sun. There is not. What has been is what will be, and we need to understand that. It does not apply in every scenario, but it applies in many scenarios, specifically stated to apply with prophecies. But I wanted to look at the whole of the 69 weeks of years. Now it's 445 to 32. So you have this one offset by 2 years from the start of that period of 7 to this one offset by that period of 7, because these are Jubilee years, but I also have the sabbatical cycles here. So what you see here is there's an even number of years between here and here, and you'll find that there's 69, and I'll show you that. But you have 445 BC, 2 years after the start of that period of 7, to 32 AD, which is 2 years after the start of that period of 7. And that's what is being shown here. Yep. Trying to move this down. So that's what's here, is you have these beginning of the periods of 7 brought over, highlighted in red, just like they were over here. And then I added the number of weeks. So this is your first week of years, 1 through 10, 11 through 20, all the way up to 69. So this shows you that even though there are only on our calendar 476 years between 445 BC and 32 AD, there are 69 periods of 7. just like Daniel's prophecy states. So that's how that is allowed to happen. And that's why we don't have to sit here and, try to explain away why 483 years of a 490-year prophecy have elapsed when we can only actually count 476 of them here. Because if you break it down into periods of 7 between those, you have 69 of them. Daniel's prophecy is still intact. So I just figured I would show that to you guys. I'm going to get working on my book again, because I really do want to get as far as I can today. Not saying that I'll have it ready and out today, but I want to have it at least finished writing so that all I have to do is proofread, do final edits, and then I can post it sometime this week. So it will be coming in the very near future, hopefully sooner rather than later. But I would say hopefully within the next few days, I will have it to you. So if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, let me know, and I will see you guys later.